huge thank you to those fellas at Weggies who gave us those answers. But now Dr. Helena Stevens joins us once again and here today to talk about how do we love? How do we show somebody that we love them?
Wonderful
That's a
to
big
be
question.
back. It is a big question. We're grateful to be back. Thank you for having me again. So many of us have heard about the love languages, and there are 5 common ways in which we show love: words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. And so those are 5 ways in which we have typically shown love, understand love.
Yeah. How do people understand those things differently? That's the hard part, is trying to figure out someone else's love language.
Sure. Usually through trial and error.
Yeah. Yeah.
we understand our own and understand others. Tuning in with yourself and kind of having that awareness, knowing oneself for what makes you happy, what makes you feel loved. If you think of love as an action, not just something that you say, there's that famous song, More Than Words, right? How to, show me that you love me. What are the ways in which someone has shown you love that really makes you feel that connection, that warm feeling, that indescribable kind of feeling? That's what I would say to someone. Think about those times in your life where you've really felt that kind of indescribable feeling. What was happening? What did someone do for you that made you feel that way? And then you have a better sense of, here are the ways in which I would want someone to show me love.
And I think that that's just so interesting that people have different love languages. It's like we all speak English, or we all speak our own languages. We all have language. But when it comes to love, that's just so interesting that people receive and, people speak love in a certain way, but then they also receive it potentially in a different way, right? It gets kind of funky.
It's a gray matter of the ways in which I like to show love may not be the ways in which you like to receive love. The ways in which I like to receive love may be exactly the way that you like to show love. So again, through that trial and error is kind of how you figure it out. It's a test. We say that love is work, relationships are work, love is a test, and these are some of the tests that you go through to kind of figure out what speaks to you. Even if it doesn't speak to me, am I willing to speak in a way that you can hear? And likewise, are you willing to speak in a way that I hear, even if it's not your primary language?
Yeah, what's interesting is that it also can change over the course of many years.
Absolutely. The language that I spoke, so to speak, 10 years ago is not the one that I would speak now or want to receive now. And that's very normal because life changes. You add kids into the equation, a lot changes, or we get older and we change, and that's okay. Again, it's tuning in with yourself and kind of recognizing, is this feeling the same way that it did 5 years ago or even a year ago? If not, what is different in your life that might be contributing to that? And then letting your partner know, here's what I need instead. Although I needed something different before, here's kind of where I'm at today.
Yeah, and I think that's so interesting when you even factor in that even with platonic friendships too, that the love languages. And I think that for me, it's like many of my friends also kind of have similar love languages as well. So how can people how can people find more information about the love languages?
A simple Google. Love language.
That's great.
There's a seminal book that was written, The 5 Love Languages. That would be a good read. There's lots of free assessments and tests online. Again, if you just Google, what is my love language, you'll get a lot of different options to take a survey. And those are awesome ways to become more self-aware and understand the time that I don't have to describe all these different love languages, but what that means to each individual. So give it a good Google, as I would say.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will be right back after the break. Stay with us.